Lovely. Hi, Thomas. Good to see you again.
Hi, Jessica. Good to see you as well.
Good to see you. Right. Any injury updates for us so far, please?
Yes, I will come with that. But could I please start with one other thing I'd like to speak about before all your fantastic questions? I think we need to praise, acknowledge, applaud two of the giants in English footballs. David Moyes, he's going to be in charge of his 1000th game on, I think, Saturday. Tonight? Is it tonight? Yeah. Oh my God, tonight. Yeah, I was badly updated there. I thought I was thinking about Saturday, but yes, I have Europa League tonight. I think it's an unbelievable achievement. Just when you've been in charge of 1,000 game, I don't think we'll see that too often in the future. And I think it tells a lot about his qualities, stamina, love and passion for this game. And I think I'm so glad that I praised him before we played them, because after that they actually took off and they are now doing even better. And I think that's more than well done. The other one is Neil Warnock, who managed or been in charge of the most games in English football, and that means probably world football. More than 1,600 games. That is insane. That's where we talk about energy and passion and love for the game. So I think it's very, very important that we remember a person and coaches like that.
Lovely. Lovely tribute to those two managers. I wonder then, Thomas, is that something that you would like to emulate, that longevity at the top level of the game?
I admire them massively that they have achieved it. I'm looking at that number and thinking, I can't swear, but I'm thinking something, that's going to take a long and hard effort from me. I would never say never. Because I love this game. I just think that's tough to continue. Probably need to continue 15 years, something like that, as a head coach or manager. That's many years. Because it's a tough job. So let's see.
Okay. So injury updates. What can you tell us, please?
Injury updates. Yes. So as you probably know, the Norwegian manager Ståle Solbakken said that Christopher Ajer is out for a period of time, and that's correct. He got a hamstring injury that's keeping him out. I don't know exactly how long, but a fair amount of weeks. So we are probably more likely speaking end of December, maybe start of January, depending on how well it's going. So in these cases, I like to be surprised. So I say, let's say until January, and then hope for a miracle. Okay. That is Christopher. Witt is still out. Shandon still out. I think I forgot anyone. I think no, anyone I forgot.
Okay. Thank you for that, Thomas. Now, talking about Brentford's form, before the international break, it was going very well, and you beat Wolves and played so well against Liverpool to get that draw. Then went on to beat West Ham, and then after the break, it's those 3 straight defeats. Are you able to pinpoint whether something's changed in the coaching or the players or anything in the setup?
A couple of things. It's not 3 straight defeat. We won the Carabao Cup against Stoke.
Sorry, in the Premier League.
In the Premier League, yes. And definitely nothing in the coaching, because that's just perfect, of course. Now, I believe in consistency, and I believe in that we try to do the same no matter if we're winning or losing. I think over time that gives us the best performances and hopefully the most points. I think it's important to look into every game. I think good performance against Chelsea, good performance against Leicester, good performance against Stoke, and it was a very big, hopefully one-off first half against Burnley. That happens sometimes. Came back in second half. So for me, can we keep those let's say, I know we won against Stoke, so let's take that into last 4 games, the 3 performances, very pleased with that. Are we keeping that high performance on Saturday? We'll be fine.
Is there anything that's surprised you about coming up to the Premier League this season, Thomas, in terms of demands on the players, how brutal the Premier League can be when you make the slightest of mistakes? Or was that all expected when you came to this level?
I think when you've never been here, you know, it's like with everything else, like your parents are telling you or me, or we're telling our children that, you know, you can't do that, but they need to experience it on their own body. So it's a little bit the same, but of course I knew or expected that the quality will be crazy high, and the tempo intensity in the games will be high as well. But now we experience it, and we can see that there is high quality, and there is big intensity, and the speed of the game is very quick when it goes quick. So that is actually, how can you say, what I expected. I think the big thing for us is that we need to be on our absolutely A game every single time to get something out of it. Where in the Championship, maybe on a 7 out of 10 performance, we could get 3 points, where it's unlikely in the Premier League.
And are your players capable of that week in, week out? From what you've seen of them, you know them the best.
So far, I'm very pleased, I must say, with the performances. That's the big thing we're looking at. So just came from training ground. I think we had a fantastic training in terms of very good intensity, very good focus, and good quality. And they train very hard every day. And I think that's what have brought us to this point, and hopefully the thing that can keep pushing us and developing us.
So the effort of the players hasn't changed. I remember when I spoke to you last, was it, I think after the Wolves game, after that impressive win, and you said you were just continuously impressed by the effort that your players put in their execution. That was towards the beginning of the season. Do you still feel that's at the same high level as it is now?
Yes, it is. I don't see any drop in that. I think especially, the training weeks is very important to see that high consistency of effort and intensity in the trainings, and of course put it into the games. Very pleased when, you know, football is so complex. So it's the physical part of it, how much you can run, and the duels and so on. Is the tactical part of it, is the mental part of it, and you know, you don't know which one is going to be most influenced in the specific game. But one parameter where we know to be bang on is the physical part of it, because we don't have the same quality as, for example, Chelsea or Leicester. So I'm very pleased that we are very fit, and in every game we played so far against our opponents on the parameters we are measuring on, we've done better. So I think that's a thing we need to check every time to get something out of these games.
And how important now is it to get the 3 points against Norwich, a team that are struggling and a team that you, of course, know very well from last season? That could perhaps provide a springboard for you to go on and win further games, could it not?
Yeah, hopefully. We definitely go out there to go for the 3 points. I think it's so important, again, not change anything, go out there, be brave, play forward, play positive. That's the mindset when we go into that game. Very aware that it's going to be another difficult game, and I understand that the Norwich game is in a bracket of games that is maybe not Liverpool or Chelsea or Arsenal that we faced here at home. And I know we had good performances and won one, drew one, and lost one. But I just know it's going to be another difficult game in a different way. We faced Norwich last year twice. We drew 1-1 at home, lost 1-0 away. And they were the best team in Championship last year. We became third. I know we have done better in this season, but I just look at the last 4 games, and I actually have it here on my paper because that's very important for me to stress it. Everton, Burnley, Brighton, Leeds, and then I know they played Chelsea, and that's a one-off. We don't know all. I've seen that in the last 10 years, 5 years, that the top 4 clubs, they have some of these massive wins once in a while where everything clicked for them, and then they're unstoppable. 4 other games on numbers, when I watched the game back, totally even games. Actually, I think maybe they deserved a bit more Norwich than they got. So for me, it needs to be a game where we need to be bang on it, perform very well against the team, and it will be a completely even game.
Good luck, Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rob from PLP next then, please.
Hi, Thomas. Daniel Farke's obviously the Norwich manager, you started off by talking about managers doing great jobs, and he's done so well at Norwich in terms of they seem to master the Championship and win it comfortably, but obviously finding it difficult this season again. What do you make of the job that he's done in the past and that he's doing now?
I think he's done a fantastic job, I must say. I remember clearly the season when they got promoted, where they struggled a tiny bit in the first couple of games, and then they just found that consistency and that clear style of play, and then they were just unstoppable from there. And by the way, we drew 1-1 and lost 1-0, so I never managed to win against Norwich. So I'm very aware that we have a big task ahead of us. So unbelievable. Then the year in the Premier League, didn't see all their games, so I can't go in depth about their performance. I know they got relegated, but it's very, very few teams that get relegated and then get up again by winning the Championship as they did. Very, very impressive. We know you can get into these bad spells in the Premier League, and they didn't have the easiest of starting programs. I think that means something. Of course, I'm 100% sure that they hope for more points, and also they would say we actually haven't done it that bad, and we maybe deserve more points that we have right now. And another big quality I think Daniel and his coaching staff and Norwich as a club have is they're very calm. They are consistent in what they do, have a clear strategy. Their hand is not shaking. They do the same. So that's why I think they will have a very good chance of still doing well in the Premier League.
A bit of team news. Brian Mbumo, how's he been training this week? And is he okay to start, do you think, this weekend?
If everything goes well tomorrow, he should be okay to start.
Great stuff. Thomas, we're doing a sleep special on our show. And I'm fascinated by Brentford's kind of innovative approach over the last few years. And since 2016, you've been working closely with Anna West, who I had the pleasure of interviewing recently. Yep. Can you tell us about your work with her and how it's benefited you and kind of impacted your success in recent years, please?
Yeah, I think Anna is a great addition to our staff and a big part of our success. I think, all that performance part of it in terms of the gym-based stuff, training well, all the bits around the on-pitch things. I think the recovery is a big thing between sessions, between matches. And one of the biggest parts of recovery is sleeping. That is maybe 80% of recovery, that you're sleeping well enough. And that's why I think that part to nail that, and that is actually more difficult than you think, because there's a lot about having, again, consistency in what you're doing in your daily life to make sure you do the same day in, day out. And that's where Anna is remarkable in terms of course, she knows all the theory about it, but also make it simple, easy tools, to use every single day, and then constantly have a dialogue and discussion with the players. And I think it's been a big help.
In terms of yourself, obviously, managerial duties are stressful at the best of times. After a win or after a defeat, does that impact you quite heavily in a sleep perspective?
I would say in general, I've always been a good sleeper. Also after games, I think after games I'm more just tired, so I just fall asleep and I sleep, I would say, well. But it's something I'm very aware of. So I'm also, because I need to perform every day in terms of putting good sessions out there, but I also need to be energetic, thinking quick, taking good decisions, be approachable to my staff and players. So I'm very aware that I need to be to bed, let's say around 11, latest, because I want at least 7.5 hours sleep because before I go up 6:30. So and I try to get that consistency into to my work as well. I think I've been pretty disciplined in many years in that aspect, but it's always nice to get an expert to give me some advice, like Nana and like Anna also did to me.
Is it is it hard sometimes when obviously for yourself maybe you're trying to switch off, maybe you've got to switch the phone off, it's difficult? Obviously some of your players will have young children, there's so many variables, aren't there? Maybe you've got a nighttime game, the floodlights have been blasting in your eyes the whole night, there's so many variables, it's not something you can always have a perfect night, is it?
No, of course I agree. Then we are coming home 2:30 in the night after Stoke, and that just changed the sleep rhythm. So there's so many variables that affect it. But even in those days, don't sleep too long, don't take too long a nap. All those bits that seems natural and simple, and of course makes sense. But if you're not aware of it, and if you're not consistent on doing it and not disciplined doing it, you will see a big effect in not recovering well enough.
Thanks ever so much.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, bro.
We'll go to John Lupo from Vavel next, please.
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon, Thomas. How are you?
Afternoon, John. Very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Just to follow up on what you said on your opening statement about Neil Warnock and David Moyes, what do you think makes them such good managers that they've been able to, stick around the game and manage several teams and have success for as long as they've had?
I think a couple of things. I think you need to have a unique passion for the game and a unique love to the game to want to be working with this beautiful game every single day. And I'm not, I've met them, I've spoken to them, so I'm not personal friends with them, but with the meetings I have with them, they always impressed me and came across like extremely passionate and big lovers of the game. You need to also have success. You need to have a clear style of play and a specific way you want to do it, and of course that develop and you sharpen it and make it better and better. And both of them have also a clear characteristica in which way they want to play, and they are very good at it. I think that's some of the reason why they are so good.
I've noticed in recent weeks that Saman, he scored against Burnley. He had some nice runs out wide against Chelsea. He performed pretty well in the Cup win over Stoke. What have you seen from him recently? What are you looking forward to seeing from him when you indeed bring him on the field?
I think Saman is a very good player, and I think he brings us some extra offensive quality in terms of the slide pass, the crosses, arriving in the box, having goal scoring qualities. It's a fantastic finish against Burnley. So that's what I like to see from him. I think he, for quite a long time now, have got the basics right in terms of how we want to press, which with intensity, how aggressive, where he needs to be on the defensive part of it. And the offensive things, I always know that he can bring and add something to the team. For me, it's the consistency to hit a high enough level to give us something as much as possible each game offensively, because I think he got the qualities. So hit that consistency to create chances or be involved in chances.
I know that Sergei Canos is going to be facing his former club on Saturday. Have you spoken to him about that? Has he spoken to you about maybe having the extra desire to want to perform, because he's had a terrific season so far, but has he spoken to you about the extra desire to want to perform well against Norwich? Well, just talk about that for a minute.
No, I haven't not spoken with him about it at all. I will not speak with him about it. I think he was in the club almost 5 years ago. So I think that's buried and dusted, or whatever you say. That's how I see it. I don't think he have any extra. How can you say? ambition or determination to do well against Norwich.
I know you mentioned Norwich and that they are a dangerous team. Teemu Pukki is one of the best strikers in the Premier League. And yes, it's going to be a very even game, but they are at the bottom of the table. They have only scored 3 times. They could have had a few more points, as you mentioned, but the reality is they are at the bottom for a reason. So you've played Chelsea and Liverpool and Arsenal at home. Now it's sort of different. The expectation is for you guys to get all 3 points. Have you spoken to the club about that, about how you'll be, in all honesty, massive favorites against a team that basically hasn't won a Premier League match in the last 18 since they've been in the Premier League?
I completely understand where you come from, and I also understand the expectations are high to us, and everyone expect us to win. That's from the outside. I'm talking to you guys, probably our fans and all that. But I think it's my job to put things in perspective. I'm not running away that I won 3 points. I'm pretty sure that Daniel Farke and his players won 3 points as well on Saturday. The reality is that the level between the 2 teams is maybe like this, and it's going to be on the day who is going to get 3 points, because it's going to be an unbelievable difficult game. They will run their socks off. They will do everything they can, just like we would do, and try to win the game. We saw a very even game here, for example, when we played Brighton. I'm not comparing the 2 teams, just saying we're losing 1-0 in the last minute. Maybe we deserve to win a narrow win. I've seen the Brighton-Norwich game, very even game at Norwich. Maybe actually Norwich deserved to win an even game, but it was 0-0. So I understand the narrative completely, and I'm pleased because it means we've done well and we're put some good performances in. But reality is, every game in this league is going to be unbelievable difficult.
2 more questions. First of all, does it help? I know that since you've come up to the Premier League, obviously you faced a bunch of new teams, but does it help that even though you drew 1-1 and lost 1-0 to them last year, does it at least help that you're familiar with them, having played them so recently?
Yeah, of course we know. The thing is, you can say I know Norwich a bit better than a lot of the other teams, and I know Daniel very well and admire him a lot. So of course that helps, but equally they know us as well. To be fair, I think it's the first time we face each other where both teams play with a back 3, so that changed dynamic a bit. But that's just an interesting tactical approach.
Finally, as you mentioned, technically, I know you guys obviously want to continue to perform with your high press, and you just said they went to a back 3. What do you think will be technically the keys to the match on Saturday?
I think it's how we defend. I think it's extremely important that we keep our aggressivity and intensity in the pressure. I think that's going to be key. And then I think that's the most important key. And then it's our quality on the final third. How can we open Norwich? Because I think everyone knows it's not that easy to open a back 5-3-2. Just like when we defend very well, we are very difficult to open when it's not an open game. So it's our quality in the final third and how we find those openings.
Cheers. Very good, Thomas. Thank you. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, John. You're welcome.
Phil Perry, please.
Hi, Thomas. Good afternoon to you. I'll be pretty quick. You mentioned David Moyes. I spoke to him last year, and he said that he's still learning and he's still sort of trying to develop as a coach. And another famous sports person once said that there's not winning and losing, there's winning and learning. So what did you learn? What did the squad learn from Saturday that you're going to take forward?
Hi, Phil. Good to see you. I think we learned a few bits, especially how to be even better to handle the balls in behind from Burnley. because we knew what they would come with. We trained it a bit. We talked about all that, but we didn't handle it well enough. So I believe that then we just need to train it again. Even maybe we're not going to face the same scenario on Saturday. We just need to try to repair the mistakes we did last Saturday. So we trained on that and how to defend that better Monday, Tuesday. And then it's been more towards Norwich today and tomorrow. So that's a big thing we learned. I think we learned that I think we gave too many chances away where we didn't do our basics well enough in terms of sprinting back, getting under the ball, stay compact, stay disciplined, keep the game plan. So it is like, we're down 1-0. What's happening? Like, of course, we know Burnley is good. Then they scored a disallowed goal. And then we actually grew a little bit back into the game for 15 minutes. Good. Showed that, created chances. And then we concede a 2-0 goal where we defended extremely poorly. That a situation we wouldn't have conceded the first 9 games. And after that, we're all over the place. So it's a little bit learn to stay in the game if things happen. We can get behind on Saturday, stay calm. Go. It's happening in football. If you concede a goal, stick to the game plan. So some of these messages we have reinforced and trained on during this week.
And you always say it's a 24-hour rule. Win, celebrate for 24 hours, lose, lick your wounds for 24 hours. What advice do you give to your players about how to use that 24 hours after a defeat rather than a victory?
I think people are very different in terms of how they reflect and handle a defeat. And I've learned over time that people need to do it differently. It hurts me massively, and I feel pain almost when we lose. But I think the most important thing after you either reflect, talk with people about it, do nothing, move quick on, it's after those 24 hours we need to have focus going forward. And then you hopefully have learned what you need to take from that game and then move forward.
And just finally for me then, so far this season at home, Arsenal under the floodlights, Liverpool under the floodlights, Chelsea under the floodlights, great performance. The clocks went back last Sunday, so therefore it'll be getting darker earlier. So even though it's a 3:00 kickoff, the floodlights come on earlier. Will that just add to the atmosphere? Does that help a little bit, do you think?
I think it does, actually. And I think we have a big task ahead of us in terms of hitting a top performance and be brave and play forward and attack. But I also think our fans have a big task ahead in front of them. I love that we are on it against Chelsea and Liverpool and Arsenal. I think we proved that when we are doing that together as a team, the team and the fans together, that's where we can have some unique performances and actually got points against some of the biggest clubs in the world. But reality is, if you actually were a bookmaker and you wanted to put your money on which games we should most likely get points out of, it's not Liverpool and Chelsea and Arsenal. It's, Norwich and other teams like that. That's likewise what they say about us. So we need to be even more on it. Our fans need to be even more bang on it. Because if you want to make a fortress and a hostile environment, you need to be every single game. It cannot be only the nice performances against the big clubs.
Brilliant. Well, best of luck on Saturdays, Thomas. See you soon.
Thank you. Likewise.
Jim Conlon, please.
Hi, Thomas. Thomas, you were calling out your injuries there to start. I don't know if I missed it, but is David Roy, your goalkeeper, is he out for a lengthy spell as well?
Yes, he is. We put a statement. Hi, Jim. Good to see you. Yes, we put a statement out. I can't remember, a week ago. He's out for 4 to 5 months.
And I suppose that gives an opportunity now for your new addition over the summer, Alvaro, your new keeper. I suppose he's new to the Premier League. He's new to English football as well. Obviously, it's going to be a baptism of fire for him in terms of Norwich and the Premier League. Are you full confidence in him?
Fully confident, but as you know, he played already against Burnley, so he got his debut. That got that out of the way. Yes, we brought him in for a reason. We think he's an extremely good keeper that will only get better. That's what normally happens to players when they play. So full of confidence, looking forward to see him play on Saturday.
And in terms of working with your back four, is there, when a keeper comes in like that, when your regular first choice keeper is injured, is there a bit of, dare I say, getting used to the sort of feel of playing in a real competitive game? I know training games, but a real competitive game. How important was that match for Alvaro to have that game you mentioned under his belt?
Very important, but as you know, Jim, I guess it was a tiny mistake. We have a back three, not a back four. But I agree with you. Yes, it's the training together over time, together with the matches, that those relationships are building and getting better. So of course we spent time during this week to make that better and better and stronger and stronger.
And Thomas, I've spoken to Daniel on many occasions, and the philosophy with Norwich, a sort of self-funding club, that leads to a departure in terms of normally the balance the books where they have to sell in terms of bringing in. And this summer they sold one of the players of the Championship last year, Buendia, obviously to Aston Villa, and they brought in players to replace that. It's a model, I suppose, that people will look at and say, well, Norwich, they're not really going out and being resourceful and splashing the cash that they don't have. They're trying to do it within their sort of means. I suppose what you think of that in terms of Norwich's sort of philosophy and approach in terms of how they're going about tackling the Premier League to be self-sufficient in the way they try and attack it?
I think they do it in a brilliant way, I must say. I think both Norwich and Brentford are not too far off each other in terms of strategy and alignment through the club and calmness. I think the way they have done it the last 1, 2, 3, this is the 4th year, is amazing. And I'm 100% sure no matter what happened with them, if they stay calm, no matter what happened with them this season, they stay calm and keep building, they will be in a very good place.
And I suppose, Thomas, there has been so many terrific performances from Brentford. Sometimes when you face that tag as underdog, but facing the tag as sort of favourites now, it brings its own sort of challenges. And even though you were really talked up, and we all know the strengths of Norwich people out there will put you as favourites, is that something sort of that you come accustomed to in the Championship, having that sort of favourites tag that last year that would probably serve you well in the Premier League in games that like this, where people will sort of put the onus on you for a performance and a result?
Yeah, but I think what is a favorite? Is that Man City or Liverpool or some of the top? That's a favorite. If you look at the two clubs that both got promoted, and we're 10 games into the season, I can't see I can see we play at home and maybe a tiny bit advantage there. That was two of our most toughest games last year. And as far as I know, if I go through the squad and starting lineups, there's not that much things have changed in both clubs or both lineups. So this will be a completely even game that we go into with confidence. We are brave. We want to attack. We want to win it. We want to do everything to get 3 points. But I think every game we are going into this season, I don't see us as massive favorites. I don't. But do I believe that we can win it? Just like I believed before Arsenal, just like I believed before Wolves, just like I believed before West Ham? Yes, massively.
Best luck, Thomas.
Thank you, Jim.
Uzi, please.
Good afternoon, Thomas. How are you?
Hi, Uzi. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too. Just wanted to ask, go back to the game against Burnley last week. It was a pretty unlike Brentford performance as to what we've seen against the likes of Wolves, West Ham, Liverpool, Chelsea. It was pretty severe, the damage done in the first half. What did you say to the players after the game?
I said to them that a little bit the same, we win or learn. So there's a lot of things we need to learn from that game. There was clearly some defensive principles that we didn't do well enough, that we talked about, saw video analysis, trained during the week on the pitch. That was a big thing. There was a little bit that about calmness, stay in the game, be disciplined, stick to the game plan, and also, sometimes you just play like, sorry my language, shit, and then you just need to get a little bit closer together, do the basic things right, and then you eat your way into the game. And then I showed the good things we actually did well, especially on the ball in spells, to show that it's small things in a game that maybe make it a big or bad performance.
And also going to Norwich, coming up against Norwich on Saturday. There's been a lot of talk about potentially your fellow opposite number, Daniel Farke, facing the sack. How much do you sympathise with him, given that you've been under you were in the past under a lot of pressure yourself?
I think it's. And we know it's a part of the game. Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing, I need to look at the work Daniel has done. It speaks for itself. I think it's up to the clubs or to now in Norwich or whatever, every club, if they believe the manager. Sometimes it goes up and down. Over time, it will go up. It's just like with the stock market, with shares. It go ups and downs. You believe in it. Maybe it'll be a dip, but it will continue going up. And I think they've showed more than enough good performances in the last 3 years. So I will stick with him no matter what happened this year.
And even on the back of 3 successive defeats in the league, to be 12th at this stage of the season and with a huge injury list, you must be quite. I know you are a very ambitious man, but you must be quite happy with that, being a newly promoted team, to be 12th at this stage.
Yeah, of course. I think it's you go into the league and that's why we say, and we mean it. So we try to be as transparent as possible. We want to aim as high as possible. We want to finish as high as possible, and let's see where that takes us. So, but of course, it's been a good start. I can see that, especially if you look at the performances. As I spoke about after the Burnley game, 18th good halves out of 20. That's good, and that's why we have that many points. Actually, I think maybe we should have more points if you look at all the stats and our performances. So I think in that aspect, I think I'm a little bit disappointed we're not higher, but I'm very aware that we're also a bit hidden, unbelievable, unlucky by injuries. Did I actually answer the question, Lucy? Okay, happy.
And also, just you might be a bit sick hearing this, but just going back to injuries, it is a very thin squad at the moment. How do you plan to get the players through of what is set to be a very excruciating period after the international break? Because after I think there are 10 games in 6 weeks, and which goes roughly a game every 4 days, 8 of which are in December. With the current squad you have now, how do you plan to get the players through that?
I think it's very important to be aware of that. That is in a little bit more than a month. A little bit less than a month. Sorry. So that's a long time. The good news is that is some of our players that are looking to get back relatively soon. So that hopefully help the squad. I would say last year with the same size of a squad, we played 9 games in December. This year is only 8, and we did very well in a very competitive and physical league like the Championship. So I'm confident that we will do well in December. But right now, I just want to do well against Norwich on Saturday.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
You're welcome, Lucy.